He arrived in the neighborhood when winter was no longer making any noise. A street where the name on the sign faded, as if it had given up on being remembered. The house was ordinary, small, made of dark wood, with old windows with fogged glass. But what caught my attention was the silence, a kind of silence that seems to be waiting for someone. When he first opened the door, he felt the air suspended, still, as if the house were taking a deep breath. At first, everything seemed normal. The creaking of old floorboards, the crackling of the heater, shadows moving in the wind, nothing that a tired mind couldn't justify. But on the third day, the kitchen clock, batteryless, unwound, and powerless, started ticking on its own, always at 3:15 in the morning. And that same night, he had a dream. The sound of footsteps coming from the basement, the scratching of claws on the ground, a howl, muffled but unmistakable. Waking up sweaty, he went to the window to calm his breathing. And that's when he saw it. One Lobo standing at the edge of the forest, watching. He didn't move, didn't attack, only looked. The next morning he decided to leave. Something inside him told him the house didn't want him there, or maybe it wanted him too much. He packed his bags and took the keys, but when he walked through the door and reached the corner, he blinked, and he was back in the room, standing, with his suitcases open again. He tried again, and again. The street seemed to go around in circles. The house, like a trap made of memory. The paintings moved around by themselves. The hallway mirror showed him getting thinner every day, even when he wasn't hungry. At night, the sounds intensified. Whispers coming from within the walls, children's voices, laughter that stopped when he turned on the light. And always, at 3:15, a sound pierced the cold. A howl. Not loud, not fierce, almost sad. The wolf came back every night, sometimes closer, sometimes only visible in the reflection of the glass. But he never came in, as if waiting for him to understand that the house did not hold him. She just reflected. That night something changed. The house fell completely silent. There were no creaks, no wind, not even the phantom ticking of the clock at 3:15. It was as if the house was holding its breath. And then the lights went out, all of them. No cell phone, no flashlight, no sound of cars in the distance, just darkness, thick as ink. He went down to the basement, not out of courage, but because something was pulling him, not with hands, but with memories. With each step, the temperature dropped. The silence turned into heaviness. And then he saw a mirror, standing in the center of the room, leaning against the moldy wall. But the reflection wasn't his. It was of a boy, cowering, wide-eyed, shaking, barefoot, trapped in a dark room, and next to the child, the Lobo. His eyes weren't wild. They were watchful, almost compassionate. The man fell to his. Something inside him gave way, like a wall breaking from within. And then, the howl. But this time, he didn't come from outside. It came from within him. It was the sound of memory being released. The mirror cracked, not from impact, but as if reacting to the truth. He understood. The house was just a reflection, a space built with the memories he tried to forget. All the while, he wasn't tied to the house. He was stuck with what he had carried since childhood. The wolf was not the hunter. It was the guardian, the only one who never turned his face away when he screamed inside. That basement wasn't a trap. It was a mirror. And the mirror, finally, showed who he really was. Someone who needed to remember, to finally go out. The silence was no longer suffocating. It was understandable. The house still breathed, but now he heard the rhythm. It wasn't the wood breathing, it was his. For the first time, he climbed the basement stairs with his eyes open, not just his physical eyes, but his memory eyes. Each step he took seemed to bring back a part of himself that had been forgotten. Childhood swallowed by loneliness, adolescence lived in alert, adult life marked by the fear of stopping. When he crossed the threshold of the room, something was different. The sound of the clock at 3:15 had stopped. The window was ajar. Fresh air rushed in, as if the house was finally allowing him to truly breathe. Outside, footprints in the snow led toward the forest. Glued a Flobo. And he followed, not on impulse nor out of desperation, but by understanding. The house didn't stop him from going out. He was the one who wasn't ready to leave. The wolf was not the key. It was the mirror, the part of you that remained alive, wild and silent, even when everything around you imploded. As he crossed the last wooden fence, he stopped. He looked back. The house seemed smaller, less threatening, and for the first time, the front door closed gently. No crack, no wind, like a cycle. That ends. Some traumas don't scream. They build walls and call it home. And the only way out is realizing that you are still holding the doorknob from the inside. The wolf disappeared into the forest, and he walked. Not to run away, but why now? He knew where the paths began. The house remained silent. No movement, no signs. According to the real estate records, no one lived there. No recent contracts, no names, no official changes. But the neighborhood started to notice something. Sometimes, lights would flicker in the middle of the night. Sometimes a shadow would pass slowly between the rooms, and always at 3:15, a howl pierced the wind. It wasn't tall, it wasn't aggressive. Familiar. A new resident went there, attracted by an ad she didn't even remember saving. An empty, isolated house needs renovation. When he walked in, he smelled old wood, the same floor creaking under his feet. He went upstairs. Nothing unusual. But when he went down to the basement, there was a mirror, covered by a white sheet, and when she removed the cloth, she froze. The reflection didn't just show her. Behind, in the image, a male figure standing in the corner, and beside him, a gray wolf sitting silently with eyes that didn't blink. The mirror cracked, right in the center. That night, she dreamed of footsteps on the stairs. And when I woke up, the kitchen clock, which was out of batteries, was ticking day 15. Some homes don't want to be left behind. Others just wait for someone to understand what was left behind inside them. If you hear the call, don't ignore the echo. Subscribe to Shadows of the Pack and follow the howls. There are stories still trapped, waiting for you.